What up, brawlers? Welcome back to Throwing Hands. It's Jacob Janoski, per usual, and alongside me, Daniel Woods. But we got a special guest on today, Vince Pichel, lightweight contender in the UFC. Vince, how you doing, man?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks. So how's it feel to get that big win on Saturday?
Feels good, man. It was just that, a big win over a tough, really tough veteran.
Now, Jim Miller's very it's notable that he likes to take it to the ground. What was your strategy in going to the ground with him and going ground and pound with him?
I just felt like I was a lot stronger and able to control the position really well. I'm a good grappler, and anyone who has me on top of him is in trouble. But if you know what I mean, if I'm given the opportunity, I'm gonna take it. I'm not. I wasn't gonna shy away from it. My coach was laughing because he always tells me, depending on the guy I fight, he'll be like, okay, this guy's got some better striking than you. This guy's got better wrestling than you. And then, me being hard-headed as I am, I always will try to show him like, oh yeah, watch this, right? And kind of prove myself a little bit. So I wanted to do that a little bit too. But it just felt right.
Definitely. So we're gonna run it back here to the beginnings of your career. So how did you get into mixed martial arts?
Um, I actually had like a bunch of friends that told me that I should do it a long time ago when UFC was first coming around and or starting to get like a little big. And then I was like, nah, I don't know. I was working a job, and then I actually got into a fight, and there was this dude, Mark Smith, who used to live out here in Simi Valley, but he was kind of a hometown hero. Anyway, he was friends with the girl I was dating's dad, and we were hanging out one holiday, and I guess at a party I beat up one of his friends or beat up someone he knew, and he was talking shit to me. Mark was kind of a big dude, challenged me basically go to a gym, um, start actually fighting against guys who know how to fight and see how good I do. So I was like, all right, where do I go? Send me to a gym. I went there for a few months. Big John McCarthy's Ultimate Training Academy was having fight team tryouts shortly after I started, like 2 months after I started even training. And then I tried out for the fight team, made the fight team, and kind of just stuck with it. And here I am.
All right.
So,
So you go, Daniel.
okay. What I was just going to say is you kind of started out with a strong amateur record, and then your first 2 years after you turned pro, 7 straight wins, all knockouts within the first 2 rounds. Before you got to the Ultimate Fighter, that's a ton of momentum to start your career off with. What was that feeling like?
It was honestly a feeling of indestructible, but I think that's what led to my first loss ultimately.
So you get to the Ultimate Fighter. You're on Team Cruz. What are some of the things that you learned in the Tough House and with Dominic Cruz? Like, what have you taken away that you still use today?
A lot of stuff actually, a lot of training regimens, some footwork drills that Dominic used to show me and shows some of the guys. Um, Things of that nature. You know what I mean? I still cut weight using some of the techniques that they showed me. Just a few little tips and tricks. You know what I mean? Like just stuff that I already know how to do, but to make it a little bit better. But just little things like that.
So you go to the tough tournament. You make it to the semifinals and lose to Ali Akinta. What'd you learn in that tournament that you still keep with your fight game today?
Man, I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about fighting. Um, I learned a lot about not pulling the trigger in that loss with Al. Kind of sucks. I feel like I could have won that. You know what I mean? We all say that, but shit, man, just kind of a learning lesson. It was actually it was a really fun experience. I had a lot of fun. I met a lot of cool guys. Everyone on that show was actually really awesome, really cool. We didn't have any issues really being in the house. Um, but I don't know, man. The biggest thing I took away from it was feeling like being at home, man. Like the whole fight life and living with the boys and doing stuff like that. Like it's just the kind of life that just kind of life that I've always loved.
So then you come out and you go into your proper UFC debut in December of 2012, and you end up, like you said, with a loss there against Rustam Kabalov. Despite the result of that fight, stepping out into the octagon, live audience, the whole deal, what's going through your head as you're getting your name called for your UFC debut?
Honestly, like so many things, I probably couldn't even pinpoint any of them for you. I was thinking about, I was thinking about like my cats at home. I was thinking about my girlfriend at the time. I was thinking about like my car. I was thinking about like a lawsuit I was going through. You know what I mean? I was thinking about money. I was thinking about so many different things. I was thinking about my opponent. Thinking about how many people were there. Like just kind of flipping out. Like fuck, I'm in the UFC. Like this is nuts. This is pretty nuts. What the fuck am I doing? What the fuck am I doing?
All right. So after that fight against Kabalov, you string together a couple wins, and after the win against Njokwani, you tear your labrum in your bicep. What was your thoughts after that injury? Like, where did you think your career direction was going?
Honestly, I thought I was gonna have to quit fighting after that fight with Njokwani. In the first 30 seconds of that fight, he hit me with a straight right, and he ended up fracturing my orbital right here, giving me instant double vision. That whole fight that I fought Njokwani, I had double vision. I had double vision for like another year after that, up like from that point on. And then I actually pulled my shoulder and my bicep at work. I used to have a regular job working for AAA. I would drive around in like a battery van and sell and install batteries. So I had a day job too. But I was doing that, and I was changing a tire, and I ended up hurting my shoulder, pulling my bicep, needed surgery. It turned into a huge ordeal because of fighting. They were trying to blame it on fighting, and luckily, like my face was broken, so I hadn't been in the gym for like 6 months because I fought Antoine in was it May or June? May. It was May, Memorial Day, I think. It was Memorial Day fight, but yeah. So luckily that saved me because I couldn't I had double vision. I wasn't in the gym, but then I had a lot of other things that kind of tore me down at that point too. I was supposed to get married that year, 2015. I didn't end up. Me and my fiance ended up splitting up. I had my injury. I had my double vision for a long time. I went through a lot of like pretty tough shit, and kind of stepped away a little bit. But without stepping away, I was still in the gym training, just to kind of keep myself going, keep myself on an even keel, right? But it was definitely a tough time, and I kind of just spent some time on just myself and relaxing. That's why I was gone for that much. I was gone for like 3 years because of that.
What was that rehab process like?
Honestly, it was pretty painful because the company that I worked for, AAA, there was a new manager there, and this new manager was basically trying to get rid of everyone that worked there so he could hire his friends. And a couple of people remained he couldn't get rid of, like me, my brother, and a couple other guys. But he's kind of the reason why it took so long. I was having a lot of issues with workman's comp and them paying for my medical stuff, being able to see the doctor because they weren't approving it because he was trying to get me. I don't know what he was doing, but he was basically telling workman's comp the whole time that I'm fully healed, I'm training, even though I just got out of surgery. I had just been out of a sling, and I had literally like a 0-pound weight lift restriction on my right arm because of my bicep. Like I wasn't allowed to lift 5 pounds, anything over 5 pounds, for 6 months because of my bicep.
Jeez, that's
And this guy was in workman's comp's ear, telling them that I'm fully healed and I'm training and all this other stuff. And I had honestly no idea where he even got this information from.
Well,
Despite the doctors.
let's move on from the injury a little bit and kind of break down your return to the UFC. It's fight night, Lewis versus Hunt from June 2017. You come back against Damian Brown over a 3-year layoff, go down to New Zealand. He's from Australia. He's basically got the home court advantage, so to speak, in this one, and you come out and knock him out in the first round. Going into that fight, what was your mindset? And once you got into the octagon, what were you able to capitalize on?
that fight, I was super concentrated. It had been a while. I felt I was due one, so I trained really hard for that fight. Honestly, probably harder than I have for any other fight that I've ever trained for. And I was feeling really sharp with my striking. That's when I was. So that's the fight that I was coming back from me having these injuries. But I was in the gym the whole time practicing my striking, practicing on movement, working, combos, things like that. So that's basically what you saw when I fought Damian Brown was 3 years of me practicing my striking and setups to get someone to fall into a trap. But that was a good comeback fight for me. That felt good to be back and kind of feel like I'm back from the dead, so to speak, because I've been gone for such a long time.
So after that Damian Brown fight, you fight Greg Gillespie. You lose, but then you're on this 2-fight win streak now, and you've beaten a very highly touted prospect in Roosevelt Roberts. Coming out of that fight against Gillespie, where was you thinking your career was going to go?
Honestly, that was just Gillespie was just a speed bump to me. That's all it was. I had a bad night. He capitalized on mistakes, and it won him the fight. When I'm on, I'm on. But I mean, I guess everyone could say that, right? I came out of that fight just ready to get revenge for that last loss. It's basically how to put it. I didn't care who I fought. I was actually surprised they gave me Roosevelt because he was an undefeated fighter. He's on a tear, and I had just coming off a loss. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So coming to this Jim Miller fight, what was your mindset?
Damn, it was basically, holy shit, I get to fight Jim Miller now, but it's on short fucking notice. This is super short notice.
How
So
long
I'm
was
like,
how long was your notice?
I found out about it on the 3rd, fought the 15th. It's like 12 days, 13 days, almost 2 weeks.
What is kind of obviously there's a lot of chaos that goes along with taking fights on short notice, but is there a certain way you look at things like that? Obviously you have to change the way you do things with your camp and everything, but in terms of mentality, do you try to look at it in a more determined way, or do you just take it as a normal fight with just a little bit less time to prepare?
Well, it was Jim Miller, so I didn't really take it as a normal fight with less time to prepare. All I really did is once I found out, I mean, I've been training, I've been looking for a fight. So I'm not really surprised at the short notice thing because I was kind of, I mean, I told them like, if it's short notice, let me know who it is. Otherwise, just take a fight and then let me know later, right? But shit, it was Jim Miller. So right when I found out, I had to practice certain things. One thing was guillotine defense, armbar defense, leg lock defense. Those are the 3 major things. And then practicing my wrestling and my takedown defense. I felt good on top. I knew if I got on top of them, I'd be able to control them. I'm strong as shit, man. Like I'm a hard person to deal with grappling wise. But yeah, it was just like, holy crap, I got to practice these things. I don't want to get caught. Jim Miller's a fireball in that first round, and that was what we were worried about, was possibly getting caught in some sort of submission while we weren't sweating and, like, you know what I mean? We're both fresh, and he's got that real pull power still, you know?
So were there any troubles with your training because of this COVID-19 time leading up or anything?
I wouldn't say troubles, but it was a little trickier than it honestly should be. We're living in a really crazy time right now to me, and I honestly don't understand what's going on in the world. But yeah, it slowed me down a little bit, but nothing. It didn't really change. It wouldn't change the outcome of the fight either way. Honestly, I would have been having the same amount of training I did. I have a lot of support from a lot of friends that are in the fight game, and coaches and gyms and things like that. So I usually always have a friend that's around that I can lean on when I need to.
You heard a lot, at least on the broadcast from this past Saturday. A lot of the announcers saying this is your kind of the biggest not necessarily the biggest win, but the best performance that a lot of people think you've had since you were on The Ultimate Fighter. Is that something you think has come along just as you've progressed over the years, or is this something that you think you've been doing the whole time?
This is something that people just haven't realized about me because I've never done it right. Most of my fights, I prefer striking battles. So, you mean the two fights that I lost were grappling, were just straight grappling battles. But like typically my fights, I like to strike. I don't mind. It's not that I don't like grappling. I don't mind grappling. I do love grappling, but it's just not really. I don't know. Nothing sometimes as exciting as like standing up and just throwing punches.
Yeah. So you've beaten Jim Miller. What's next for Vince Pichel?
I don't know. I told Shelby that just let me heal up from my bumps and bruises. And I'll get back in the gym and then we'll talk. He's like, cool. Let me know when you're in the gym and we'll talk. I don't really have a name or anyone that I'm looking to fight or want to fight. Just kind of going to see who's available for a fight and go from there.
All right, Dan, you got anything else?
That covers it, man.
All right, Vince, where can the people find you on social media?
All my social media is the same, from Help a Show. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I have a Twitch channel too. It's all from Help a Show.
All right, guys, that'll do it for us right now. Vince, we want to thank you for coming on, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, Vince Pichel, everybody.
Hold on,
Well, guys, Daniel and I aren't done. We're going to go over some news. So Jan Blachowicz, Dominic Reyes light heavyweight title. What do you think about that?
I think it'll be a really good fight. These are two guys that have kind of defined themselves as the two guys behind John Jones in this division. And as anybody that keeps up on mixed martial arts is going to know, John Jones has vacated the UFC light heavyweight title. He's looking to take a step up towards heavyweight. There was some discussion he might get Derek Lewis, but Derek Lewis and Curtis Blades is a fight that's officially been made, so that's off the table for now. I like the Reyes Blachowicz matchup. I think this will be a really good fight, and it's coming up quick at UFC 253. I'm really excited for this. And honestly, I think it helps build that 253 card. I liked it off the bat, but this makes it even heavier.
Oh, yeah, it definitely does. Two title fights. I think it'll just be a straight kickboxing match between these two guys, Blachowicz and Reyes. It's going to be one hell of a fight. And you and I talked about this a little bit yesterday. Well, we texted about it anyway. Jones to heavyweight is a scary, scary prospect. He's already said he's starting to gain weight, and he walks around at 230 already. He's going to be walking around at 250, 255 for heavyweight. What are your thoughts on this move?
With John Jones?
Yeah.
I think it's something that has probably been in the works for a while. He's dominated light heavyweight almost exclusively outside of a couple of fights, and he's got nothing left to do there. A super fight with Israel Adesanya possibly could have been in the works, but honestly, that's something that can be made at a later date. And John Jones easily could, I would say, cut weight to get down to light heavyweight, and Israel Adesanya could meet him there. So a step up to heavyweight, I think, is certainly something that has probably been planned for a while in the back of his mind. And he sees no competition left for him at light heavyweight. And this, in his eyes, is the time to step up. That's fine by me.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, people are saying, "Oh, you got to fight Reyes again." He has nothing to prove in this light heavyweight division anymore. Yeah, you could argue Reyes won that fight, but there's just nothing else for him to prove. And onto another thing, Dana White said Ngannou is getting the next title fight, which you and I can both agree that he definitely deserves.
Yeah.
But what I'm worried about with Ngannou is he hasn't really proven all that much since the Miocic fight. Yes, he can knock people out, but no one has tried to shoot at him besides Stipe Miocic. So what do you think the outcome of this fight could be? I don't know. I see more of the same happening.
But between Stipe and Ngannou, you mean?
Yeah.
I think Stipe probably wins that fight, but you never know, because the dominance that is brought to the table from Francis Ngannou, especially recently, is out of this world. He's a guy that I think is still a future champion by all means. But I would agree. I think Stipe still probably has the edge. Stipe's the greatest heavyweight of all time, and I don't think he's going to lose that crown anytime soon.
Yeah, nor do I. Until he meets John Jones, I think, but we'll see what happens there. Do you have anything else that you want to discuss?
Nothing really jumps straight to mind. There's reports. I talked about Adesanya and Jones, and there's actually reports coming out now that Israel Adesanya is willing to chase John Jones up to heavyweight, which would just be a real freaking weird fight because, yeah, this is a quote from Israel Adesanya. He said, 100%, it doesn't change my plans. My plan is still going forward as planned. So, yeah, the same thing. Look how long it took him to move up to heavyweight finally. Like I said, he was expecting me to do it straight away when I hadn't even defended my belt yet. I've defended my belt twice now. I want to defend it a few more times and then do what I set out to do. So apparently Israel Adesanya is willing to fight John Jones at heavyweight,
Yeah,
which is an interesting proposition.
yeah, it is an interesting proposition. And did you see what Adesanya said to Jones or something like that? He said, "Do some squats. Your legs are like chopsticks." And I don't think really Israel Adesanya has much to talk about.
Yeah, he doesn't have room to talk about skinny legs.
He really doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you can't talk. It's but John Jones at heavyweight is a scary proposition for this division. Did you watch the Contender Series last night?
Again, I'm behind on it. I got caught up doing some other things last night, but I plan on catching up with it either today or tomorrow.
All right, cool. So if you don't have anything else, you have anything else?
Just the medical suspensions from 252 have come down. Nothing major outside of Sean O'Malley, who could be facing a suspension up until February of 2021, depending on observation of his ankle by an orthopedic doctor. There's some other things that there are to look at. Stipe and Daniel Cormier actually both need to have their eye checked out. Cormier could be done. Obviously, we think Cormier is done for good, but he has to have that left eye cleared, or he'll have no competition until February as well. Otherwise, not a ton that sticks out. No major news on that front other than two guys that we knew had injuries already.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, that'll do it for us today. You'll see us tomorrow for the Edgar versus Munoz fight card preview. Thanks for coming back on, Daniel, per usual.
Yes, sir.
And we will see you guys next time.